Warning, the video has spoilers. Ultrakill is a money-killing simulator. Now you may be asking, what does that even mean? Well, I don't want to spoil it too much, but most of this game's combat boils down to you throwing a coin and tunnel visioning onto it. So let's take a step back. What is Ultrakill? Well, thanks for asking. Ultrakill is what we call a boomer shooter. So pretty much the gameplay is built into a fast-paced, caffeinated, low-drag, Vulcan rig, and chiropractic gameplay pattern. You will play as a sentient robot whose goal is to kill all of hell, which is based on a fan fiction from the 14th century. In order to win, you will be expected to use every weapon in your arsenal at all times. It's pretty nice to play through a game where every means of murder is viable instead of meta-hogging to a specific weapon. Thankfully, you are more than equipped to face the threat at hand. Now, the basic gameplay may seem complicated, but once you slow it down, it's pretty simple to understand. And trust me, I'm already halfway to carpool tunnel. The only goal you're given is to kill. Ammo is no longer a constraint, and to restore health is to consume the blood of the fallen, which is great because it actively encourages you to seek out your enemies. The arsenal you're given is the most important part. Every weapon is super individual-like, but the same overall. On top of each weapon are their individual mods, like using money to kill your competition. Now that sounds complicated, but after a while, your mind enters a zen mode where you lose all thought and you smoothly cover the whole room red. Outside of the revolver and its money-slinging ability, you are given a shotgun, a machine gun, a rocket launcher, and a goddamn railgun that single-handedly becomes the best weapon in the entire game when combined with the money. So, we've got all these weapons of destruction. You've got your revolvers, one for precision and one for chaos, and both for bouncing coins off walls like some kind of hellish pool shark. Then there's the shotgun, or as I like to call it, the demon confetti gun. Perfect for turning enemies into a fine red cloud, or missing entirely, both equally hilarious. The machine gun, that's your classic spray and hope device, because accuracy is for amateurs. And of course, the rocket launcher, for when you want to fly and explode, preferably not yourself, but sometimes yourself. And then there's the railgun, the demon delete key, also my delete key, because friendly fire is a feature, not a bug. All these guns are great, but the coins are way better. And of course, every gun has its money-killing potential, because why shoot bullets when you can shoot your hard-earned money? You can also mob these guns too, which makes them even more absurd, because why not? You can also punch, but I can't make a joke for this. So we've got all these weapons of destruction, but what about the targets? Well, let's just say hell has a very diverse workforce. This all seems great, but what is a paintbrush without a canvas? And that's where the enemies come in. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them because they don't usually live long enough for me to actually learn all the interactions, but there is a chart in a 36-minute video that can perfectly explain everything because I am less qualified than the scientists who played this game. Now, I don't need a long breakdown of the enemies, so let me summarize. Husks are your common fodder, and I'm more built for the P-bar. Strays make for the perfect tennis partners. The funny rock, literal Ichigo robot because hell needed anime villains. These enemies all have their own interactions with each weapon/arm. See, this would be great if I didn't spam the coins, and these demons are just like the IRS. And like the IRS, they can take the money after I lodge it into their skull when I send it at terminal velocity. All these enemies have their own counters, but mostly involve money. Another gameplay feature is that you can parry literally almost anything. Enemy projectiles? Yes. Your shotgun shells? Most definitely. The very coins that you can throw? You betcha. But to kill the spawn of Satan, you will need a background. And that's where the... After you purchase your canvas, now you must create your painting. And let me say, Ultrakill has some of the coolest backdrops for you to slay all of hell to. I actually got to take some time to enjoy the scenery. Because if you plan on P-ranking every level, then yeah, you're not going to see very much of the level design. Remember the 14th century fanfiction I mentioned from the beginning of the video? Yes, this game is based on Dante's Inferno, so you get to exterminate all levels of hell. While the scenery may be cool, this game certainly gets weird in a few places, like the level where you're being stalked at night. And it's very apparent you're not alone here. Another level has you playing through a dating sim about yourself, talking about a very welcoming subject like existentialism. I decided to leave the modern world behind, and then decided to become a nice fisherman. And after a lot of thinking, I decided to stop paying my taxes and join a satanic cult. But once you understand them, you'll know them like your hometown. If you're skilled enough, you can P-rank each mission, which pretty much means you played the level perfectly. I would love to show you the reward you get for P-ranking each mission, but I don't have the mental capacity to do that, and I want to finish this video in a reasonable time. But I'm 100% sure there are amazing rewards. While each level may be peak after peak, each layer of hell is capped off with some insane bosses. There's the funny Rock, that same ninja robot swordsman, and the 2 statue fellas, but one stands above all of those. V2 is the boss of Claire de Lune, and the fun part about this fight is that he's you, and the bad part about this fight is that he's you. You heard me right. Everything you've been doing, V2 can do it as well. The only problem I have with V2 is that he really enjoys shooting my own coins. If he wanted money, he should work for his own coins to fire at me. He's also very aggressive. He will push you as much as you can. This has led me to stage 1 Parkinson's disease because of how much I dragged my wrist to kill this guy. But once you defeat him, he just leaves. But also he leaves his arm behind. I never used it, so I'm not going to speak on it. But the next boss is the corpse of King Minos, which is in lore, he rebuilt an entire city. But for some reason, he decided to invest into bisexual lighting. This amount of pink and blue cannot be healthy for the skin. King Minos' fight isn't anything crazy, but you can parry this dude's massive hands, and he does not take that very nicely, and then starts expelling the bugs under his skin through his eyes. King Minos wasn't anything crazy, but then you could get to live the fantasy of being Vord. So after running through Minos' stomach, you run into a nice fella named Gabriel. I wonder what he has to say. Oh, you run into V2 again in Act 2, but this time he's even crazier. He's faster and still shoots my hard-earned money. If you punch him with his arm, he will get enraged. After beating V2, he tries to run away, but you quickly use the pyramids of Egypt as a slip and slide. Next, you're transported to the Subnautica level, where you have to save the Titanic from the ice, only for it to crash again. The only boss in the first sea level you can bribe, so I don't have any footage of that. Finally, you get to take your revenge on the Reaper Leviathan and kill that big fish once and for all. I only used the coins. Finally, we make it to the Soul Factory, and this fight is one of epic proportions. You will fight every enemy from the last 2 acts. Then finally, you run into the man himself, Gabriel. This fight is even crazier than the first.
My hands shall relish ending you here and now!
But after defeating him, V1 opens his eyes, and then he goes on a murderous rampage. For this next section, I'm going to change it up a bit, as you may be wondering why I'm doing the things I'm doing. That's where the lore comes in. Thankfully, the lore isn't some crazy mind-melting atrocity that would kill a small Victorian child, because Ultrakill's story does all the right things in all the right areas and is very serious. So let me present to you the proper interpretation of the Ultrakill story. So 10 gazillion years ago, God created Earth. Crazy start, I know. After that, God created hell for some reason, and then started to regret it because that finally allowed humanity to sin. While that was happening, history went on as normal until the Great War started, and instead of lasting 4 years, it went on for the next 200 years. With no end of the war in sight, humanity decided to start developing machines to start fighting each other instead of humans themselves. The only way mankind could outkill each other was to build machines that used blood as fuel to allow them to continue fighting without all the downsides of a human body. So after 200 years of constant fighting, the Earth has been absolutely destroyed and barely life exists on the ground from all the fighting and manufacturing. One side tried to develop a machine that could absorb blood through its armor. He also has another sibling that was pretty much the exact same, except it didn't get the blood absorption quirk, but these were only just prototypes. Surprisingly, humanity was able to end the war and start a new era of peace. So in a need for resources, humans discovered hell and for some reason decided to start exploring it with no... Unfortunately, humanity just went extinct. So after witnessing everything, God decided to just peace out and create a new line of intelligent life where God's word is law. So obviously, with the big G gone, all of heaven is scrambling to try and discuss a new plan of action. So with no one watching over hell, King Minos decided to rebrand the Lust Layer into a proper city and took care of the people of Lust. Heaven takes notes of this and sends someone to kill King Minos. The angel, Gabriel, came down to hell to finish off King Minos and become the new judge of hell, and decided to make King Minos' corpse his new home for some reason. Now, back to the machines. Without any humans to provide blood for their survival, all the machines start invading hell in order to sustain their lives. But by the time you get to hell, the party is kinda over. 1. The machines are killing every demon for blood on site. 2. All the demons are fighting the machines for pure survival. 3. Heaven is sending angels to kill everyone to stop the fighting. But you hold one advantage over the rest of the robots. Remember when I mentioned that machine that was developed with blood absorbing armor? Well, that's you. So for a while you slaughter all of hell just to continue living. Do you also remember that other mission that was like V1? Yes, you run into him again, but I don't need to explain what happened again. So after some tomfoolery, you enter Lust and proceed to kill all the inhabitants. So after going through the drug tunnels underneath Dallas and gleefully evading the authority, you get to fight the corpse of King Minos. Fast forwarding, you fight Gabriel, and he obviously loses. The court of heaven tells Gabriel that he has 24 hours left to live until he dies, unless he can kill you. Now, you may be asking, harsh punishment? The idea of an angel dying to a human was impossible, but Gabriel lost to something less than human. So you continue down hell, and you actually kill V2. Or, well, he just dies of fall damage. And you take his arm. But most importantly, you run into Gabriel again. And this time, he isn't planning to lose. And then he does. But upon losing, Gabriel gets a taste of his own blood, and that pushes him over the edge. Without God around anymore, Gabriel knows that the threat of death cannot be real, so he leaves and kills the entire court of heaven and angels. And sadly, that's where the story ends. For now. So in conclusion, Ultrakill is the game, and you will play it. That is not a suggestion. This could be the only game that you play for the rest of your life, and you'd still find something new in it. Thankfully, with how the game is designed, you will play in a way that is fun. Side note, the music goes crazily tough, and you can trust my opinion because I only listen to Peak. But nah, for real, Ultrakill is one of the best games ever made. Should you buy it? Yes, I am playing favoritism. Even after I spoiled the entire game, I still recommend it. It's just that good. And hopefully, you're okay with early access because, well, the game isn't finished yet. But a new layer is getting close to dropping, so now would be the perfect time to jump into hell and put an end to this godforsaken empire. Remember, mankind is dead, hell is full, blood is fuel. Thanks for watching.